refurbishing of the Kids Spot area down by McGuire Field. It's in terrible disrepair and is in need of repair. It's going to be approximately $75,000 worth of repairs. Hillview is going to put up $50,000, and I believe the rest of the funds that are necessary are basically going to be donated by local people, local merchants, and we certainly appreciate that, so we'd appreciate your support of this article. Thank you.
Any discussion in the main hall? Any discussion from the overflow facility?
There's no discussion in the overflow facility.
We have the motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Article 2. Mr. Messeri.
Mr. Moderator, I move to amend Article 8, Capital Expenditures of the October 16, 2008 Town Meeting by increasing the amount appropriated for item J, Finance and Administration Software, by transferring the sum of $60,000 from free cash as specified in Article 2 as printed in the warrant.
We have the motion. Does the Board of Selectmen wish to make a recommendation? Mr. Messeri.
The Board of Selectmen recommends.
Does the Finance Committee wish to make a recommendation? Any discussion? Mr. Messeri.
Just a brief explanation. The town is in the process of installing a new accounting system which covers both town and schools. The aim of this accounting system is to increase efficiencies and to eliminate the exposure that we have with our current system, which we're concerned about support as we go forward. This additional money is to add a purchasing module to the software package and to provide additional support to make this very large project a success. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Mr. Witz, any discussion in your facility?
No, there is not, Mr. Moderator.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? Article 3, Mr. Dardino.
Mr. Moderator, I move to appropriate the sum of $1,095,334 in addition to any amounts previously appropriated to supplement costs relating to the town's acquisition of parcels of land authorized to be taken by eminent domain pursuant to the vote of the town passed under Article 27 of the warrant for the April 7, 2003 town meeting, in which parcels are depicted on the plan entitled Plan of Land in North Reading, Mass Survey for the Town of North Reading, dated February 28, 2003, drawn by Design Consultants, Inc., for the purpose of creating Eisenhower's Pond Park, and as funding therefore to borrow said sum in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 7-2, or any other enabling authority, and to authorize the treasurer with the approval of the Board of Selectmen to issue bonds and notes therefore.
We have the motion. Does the Board of Selectmen wish to make a recommendation? Mr. Dardino.
Board of Selectmen recommend.
Does the Finance Committee wish to make a recommendation?
All claims have now been adjudicated and settled, requiring this additional $1,095,334. These funds are due and payable. The town does not have a choice as to whether to pay them or not. If the town does not pass this article, the funds will have to be taken from fiscal year 2009 school and municipal budgets, which are severely strained already. Bonding will allow us to pay for this obligation over a period of time. This has been a long and difficult process, which is now at an end. The Finance Committee does support a yes vote on Article 3.
Mr. Dardino.
In February 2005, the town of North Reading took a number of parcels of land around Eisenhower Pond by eminent domain. I was not a member of the Board of Selectmen at the time, so I'm not going to discuss the original taking. I am going to address what has happened since the taking. Since the eminent domain of 2005, many of the former owners have filed lawsuits against the town, arguing that the town's valuation was too low and that they're entitled to more money. This is not an unusual occurrence. The great majority of land taking situations end up in litigation. The time for filing has passed, and in all, 19 former owners filed suits. 4 did not. The good news is that the time for filing has passed, and all 19 cases have now been resolved. This will be the last time the town meeting will have to deal with a request for additional funds associated with the Eisenhower Pond land taking. In deciding how to handle these cases, this was our approach. We consulted our attorneys, Copeland and Page. We consulted wetland experts, appraisal experts, and engineers. We reviewed the history of the property, as well as the arguments within the lawsuits and the former owners' property valuations. Based on this review, we decided how to handle each and every case, making an offer to settle each one. In light of the facts of each case, we have made, in our opinion, a favorable settlement for the town of North Reading. In every case, we have paid substantially less than the amount claimed as owed in the lawsuits. 2 of the cases went to actual trial, and the resulting decisions were consistent with our analysis and very supportive of the settlement offers overall. Questions. People have asked a number of questions with respect to these properties, and I will try to address the ones that I have heard so far. Can we give the property back? We cannot give the property back. We own the land now and can only hold it, use it, or sell it. Thus, we were forced to address each lawsuit individually by settling or going to the trial on each case. There was one piece of property that we could give back, and we did. By law, we were allowed to give that particular property back because there was an issue as to the correctness of the eminent domain with regard to the property. The remainder of the properties could not be given back. Can we sell town land to pay for this? Yes, we can. However, we've decided not to do this at this time for a number of reasons. The market is bad. We will not receive top dollar for that sale, and selling land means more development, more children for schools, and the fact is it'll also mean more town services will be needed. How many more cases? The deadline to file was 3 years after the date of taking, which deadline expired February of 2008. No further lawsuits may be filed at this time. What happens if this measure is not approved? The lawsuits have been settled, and the money, if not bonded, will come directly out of the town budget. The town budget will have to be reduced by this number in the next fiscal year. How much more will we owe? It is expected we will owe no more than this. What's the final cost? The original offer to take the land was $1,186,250. The cases settled, including the money being requested today, were for a total of $2,413,109, for a total cost of $3,599,359. Today we are looking to bond $1,076,084.
Are there any questions or discussion? Mr. Rowe. Could you turn the microphone on, please?
Dana Rowe, 61 Adams Street. The last town meeting, we raised more money for this, and I realize this is the last, but at that meeting I asked, and I'd like to know if in fact the Board of Selectmen has done anything to find out why we were so far off on our estimates for buying this land. So I hate to see it happen again, and my only problem is I don't think we've, somebody did something wrong somewhere that we were that far off.
Well, basically what happened was, in the beginning, we had two appraisers, and we used an average of the 2 appraisals. Both appraisers came in and suggested that a lot of this land was not buildable. Well, a good amount of it is in fact buildable, and that ended up to be most of the problem. And that's that's looking back on it now. The reason it was done at the time was because the feeling was that it was an opportunity to get land that would otherwise be developed. It was to limit development in the town, to limit 40Bs, and to try to address some of those concerns.
Are there questions in the overflow facility, Mr. Witz?
No, there is not.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed? And the overflow facility, was that also unanimous?
There was one no vote.
One no vote. Mr. Misery? I'm sorry, that required a two-thirds because it was land, and I declare that a two-thirds majority vote. Mr. Misery?
Mr. Moderator, I move to adjourn this meeting sine die.
We have a motion to adjourn the special town meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. In the overflow, is that unanimous also?
Yes, it was, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. It would appear, in one moment, Mr. Misery, it would appear, although I can't see them, that the overflow facility is crowded. I would ask if everybody in the main hall could slide in so we can see what we have for seats, and maybe some of those folks in the overflow facility could come in here so we don't have to open a third facility. So if we could identify all the empty seats in the main hall, and those who are standing in the overflow, if you'd like to come in the main hall, we do have some seats available. Mr. Witz,
Yes, Mr. Moderator.
would you ask, I understand you have about 30 people standing.
That's probably correct, yes.
Would you ask them to come into the main hall? I believe they can find a seat.
So if anybody's standing, want to go into the main hall, there are seats available. There are a few seats up here, too. There's like 3 or 4 seats up here. And there's one seat up front here over on my left. And there's a couple in the middle to my right. So there should be enough seats for everybody to be seated.
There are seats down the front. There's a seat here. There's another one here, another one there, another one there.
There's 2 right here.
And there's some in the center section. If we could have quiet while folks are finding those seats, we can continue with a motion to admit. Mr. Misery?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the following persons be admitted to the meeting: Pamela Boydoin, School Department; Christine D. Ayon, School Department; Anthony Moreland, North Reading Police Department; Seth Albaum, Norcam; Rob Carboni, Norcam; Martin Tao, North Reading Health Agent, Martin Fair, sorry, North Reading Health Agent; David Slater, 53 Havel Street; and Ruth Bayer, 30 Hillview Road.
We have a motion to admit. Any discussion? Any discussion in the overflow?
No, there is not, Mr. Moderator.
If you have a question, I would ask you go to the microphone I would ask that you please go to the microphone. We have an overflow facility. They will not hear you from your chair. If you'd like to be recognized this evening, go up to the microphone, and I will recognize you from there. Thank you. Mr. Misery, were those read as freedom of the floor from NORCAM? None of us heard you. It's amazing. So the two from NORCAM will have freedom of the floor.